Here we go. So we're going to do a little bit of rig tying. So I've got all the main components already out, so let's just aim them. Got some tungsten little sinkers here. We have got a lighter as well, what's not quite on screen, but there it is. We've actually done a little measuring thing here as well. Now these are in inches, so we've got 1 all the way to 9 inches, so which is really where you want to be working, really, to be fair. We've got some coated braid, we've got some chod hooks, we've got some chod mouth chop as well, the 2 puller tools, a little baiting needle, scissors, and then, like I say, obviously the little like swivels, loops, and all sorts in there, like hook beads and whatnot. Now we're only going to be using in this video the ring swivel, which in my case is size 8, because I prefer to use size 8 because it's a little bit heavier. When using decent buoyant pop-ups, it's worth having that little bit more weight. It saves you trimming loads and loads off, or messing about with so much putty. And then we're also going to be using the little rig rings as well. Right, now rig rings itself, it obviously really defines down to your hook size, so you can use what you want. I prefer to use the 4.7s because it's a little bit more movement actually in it, because it's a bigger ring. Right, so let's tie it up. Now this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be basically tying up a chod, but with a chod you can turn it into an hinge rig as well. So you've got 2 rigs in one hit. Now you don't just have to use a coated braid, you can use a normal braid, or you can even use, say, a fluorocarbon like cord boom or something like that. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to move some of these components out the way now, and then we're actually going to be getting obviously what we need to do. So shift all this lot out. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to pull a short section of the mouth trap off. Now when I say a short section, I've gone really generous here, but if I measure this, so if I go from end to end, it's just under 9 inches. Yeah, literally just under 9 inches, not by a great deal. Right, so that is that then. So we want to get a hook. In this case I'm using a size 4 barbless. The only reason why I'm using barbless is because I ain't got no micro barbs in them, because I don't tend to use chod hooks, but I thought I'd do something different. Right, so if you've not done a chod before, it's very, very simple. Let's just get this. Wish I'd put it down on there now. Right, with a chod hook, it's always got an outturned eye. Yeah, and then in-turned eye would be going towards the point. Obviously this is going away from the point, so it's an outturned eye. So you can either feed it in that way from the back of the eye, or you can feed it in from the front and have it that way. If you do it that way, you got a little bit shorter to go, haven't you? So leave yourself a good tag end. And then what you're looking for is where the join is on the hook, which is this side. So we're going to wrap the opposite side, so we're going to be wrapping from this side. Now I'm going to be going 9 turns down this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then back through the back of the eye. And what I do now, what you're not going to see on camera, is just grab this by my teeth and then just give it a gentle pull down. Nothing too much, yeah, just to literally seize the knot up. Right, next stage now, with a tag end what's actually down near the short tag end, we're going to get a rig ring. We're going to lace that onto there, and then we're going to push that through the back of the eye like that. Once we've done that, we're going to pull it taut. We're going to pull this out the way. we're going to trim it off, and then we're just going to give it a little blob, like so. Push your finger on it, make sure it's nice and cool, also flattens it off. Once you've done that, I'm going to push it out to form the D for the ring. Once I've done this, I'm just going to tease it down into shape. You can actually buy tools for this, but there's not really any need. So there we are. Because it's a big hook, that's the reason why I've gone with a bigger D. Okay, so that is that. Now it will still need steaming anyway, but I'll do that on the bank. Right, so the next stage now is to get me figure of 8, size 8 ring swivel, figure of 8. I'm not pushing the big ring on, only this small ring, what's actually the swivel itself, like so. Okay, and then what I'm going to do now, I'm going to bring that right up to the hook, roughly about 5 mil. I'm going to kink it over. Once I've kinked it, I'm going to turn it round. 1, 2, and then the first loop what I made, I'm going to push it back through there, by keeping it all short. So now that is what it looks like. So all I'm going to do now, I'm going to saliva that up. I'm going to pull the tag end a little bit more with my teeth, like that, just to get it a little bit shorter on there. Wet it, and then I'm going to get my 2 rig pullers, so one onto the hook and then the other one into the ring. Once I've done that, I'm just going to gently pull, just to cinch the knot up. Now that way, if I put that to these inches, this camera's moved, hasn't it? So let me just alter the camera back again. Excuse me. Right, now as you can see with the inch, so from the hook to there, it is not even 1 inch, as you can see. It's about 3/4 of an inch. Why have I done that? One, because I'm using a size 8 swivel anyway, ring swivel, so that has got quite a bit. So if I go from end to end there, now that is just literally slightly over 1 inch, and I don't want it popped up a great deal. So by the time I do my hook, it's going to be, with the bait, it's going to be touching nearly 3 inches. So if I did this little section here any longer, which is how most people do, I'm going to be looking between 4 and maybe 5 inches off the bottom, and I don't want it 4 to 5 inches off the bottom. I want it quite close. So that's the reason why I've done that. So the next thing I'm going to do, this tag end, I'm just going to trim this off, like so. Get my lighter again, and then the tag end as well, just give it a little blob, just as added security. So that is that part done. Now when I say that it needs steaming, what I mean, I want to get it curved, which I'm not going to be doing in the video. I'll just do it literally hand purpose. So I'm just going to try and get that little tag end down a touch more. Just make sure I don't damage the main line, which is obviously here, or the knot itself. The reason why I don't want it too long is because if I do go too long, it's got a chance of having a tangle. Right, so what we're going to be doing, so that is the normal like chod setup there. Okay, just bait it up now. I'm going to turn that into a stiff inch. So what I'm going to do with this is a coated braid, which is the Fox Camo Tex. I'm going to be using a sinker. So what I'm going to do, first I'm going to put the sinker on. Let's have a look for the little loop. So push that through there, And this is the reason why I do this part first. So it's quite a large one there. So now I'm going to just moisten it down onto this line here. And then slide that onto it. Right. There we are. So that is that. So what we're going to do now is just a basic blood knot. You can go 3 turn, 4 turn, 5 turn. I always like to go 5. So we're going to go through the ring. Just go slide that sink down a bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back through the loop what I first made. The only reason why it's so awkward is because normally I do it really close to me, and because I'm trying to do it on camera, I'm much further away from seeing it, and I need HD goggles. Right, so that is in there. So what we're going to do now is just moisten this knot down, and then we're going to tease it down. Not tight, just enough to cinch it into place. Yeah, it's not full on tight. We're going to tighten it up in a moment. So what we're going to do now then, we are going to literally get from the ring, so from that knot, what we've just formed, to 9 inches. And then we are going to literally a little bit more off there. So I know where it is. So what we can do from that is do a figure of 8 loop knot. So make 1 loop, twist it over. This is just my version way of doing it. And then with a rig puller, pull this down, moisten that up as well. Now we can cut off any excess what we've got. Being quite generous here. We're going to get the rig pullers. And what we're going to do now, we are going to re-wet every knot. So we're going to wet this knot, this knot, this knot, and we're also going to do the knotless knot as well. We're going to wet every knot just with saliva. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you've done all 4, it's time to pull it taut. Now the only thing I've not done on this one is put an anti-tangle sleeve on. I would normally put it on first, slide it down, and then obviously there it is. But we'll just cinch those knots up tight. Let's make sure that figure 8 is tight as well. Yep. And now it's time to tidy everything up. So we'll cut the tag ends off what we don't need. I always go a little bit, leave a little bit of excess on the figure of 8 loop knot. And then this knot down here, we can neaten that one up as well. Once we've done that, saliva the line here again, and then we are going to get a tungsten sinker and slide that down to the knot. So now, once this is laid on the bottom, once it's all been steamed out, this part here is going to sit up like so. Everything else is going to be straight onto the late bed. It's going to go with the context of that. So this is how it's going to sit. And I'm going to manipulate that into a curve. And then the bait, get away from those inches. The bait is going to be sitting above here, roughly about where this number 9 is. To do this, all I'm going to do, I can do it with either mono or I can do it with bait floss. In this case, I'll show you with a bit of mono. So if you run out of bait floss, there's a nice little handy trick for you. So just take a short section of that off. I'm just going to pick out a bait. We're going to pull this through here, through the centre, We're going to put that through there, through that ring. Even those two up. Longer you go, more room you got to play with. Then we're going to pull that onto there. And then we're going to tease these lines out. We're going to trim them off. And then we are going to blob. And because it's a mono, it's really nice and sticky, securing that bait nice and solid. And there is the end product. There we go. Like I say, it just needs a touch of steam in, just to manipulate it into the position what you want. And there we go, as you can see, it hooks. Thank you for watching, guys. There's the stiff hinge, or the basic chod without the boom.